we're back from South Africa. We've been here for a couple of weeks and we're just beginning to feel normal again. I've got to warn you guys, South Africa is a hectic, long way away, and I don't know, the jet lag doesn't seem to get any better, but it is so worth it. This is where David and I sit and work in the sunshine, watching the birds, and this tablecloth really reminds me of South Africa. My sister bought it for me. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ardmore pottery, this very intricate pottery from Zimbabwe, but they went off into a fabric line, Halstead Fabrics, and they've become so famous that Hermes have picked them up and they've done the most amazing Hermes scarves. If you see them in the airport, buy one. They're pretty expensive, I have to say. So what I wanted to do was just take you around my house to see how, even in a rather traditional New England country house, you can buy these things and bring them back from your travels, and I think they look fine. I always take an extra suitcase out to South Africa, which I fill with old clothes that have so much more value in South Africa. I give a lot to my sister because she has this literacy program that she likes to support. This is a present from my 60th birthday of a protea, my favorite flower ever. Bought in the airport, had to have a African hoopoe, one of the funniest looking birds. Wire baskets. Oh, and this basket is from that amazing shop that I told you about in the last video, Sprout Design. You must always buy these things when you see them because I haven't seen them there again. Anyway, so these are the things I wanted to show you. This is my mantelpiece that I love. I know it's a jumble, but this is just so symbolic of South Africa, made by an old guy in that tourist shop that I love to shop in. And it's so iconic. The windmills of South Africa are just icons of the South African countryside. How hilarious is this baboon, this like $3 baboon that some old guy carved? All of the things that they sell in the tourist shops are meaningful and usually come from a good community project. The other thing I wanted to tell you about, oh my God, the drone, anyway, we have to live with those, is I'm in love with these Malawi chairs. Everyone in South Africa has been decorating with them. I think they first saw them on the side of the road somewhere. So I was Googling them on Etsy and I finally found them on West Elm, strangely enough. So I thought they weren't expensive and they're knockoffs. But when I opened the box and they arrived, I turned it over and the most fascinating, well, first of all, they look really authentic. There's the name of the guy that actually made it. I had to buy more. So anyway, these are my Malawi chairs and fabric from my Africa collection, and my Botswana trees sitting on top makes me happy. One other thing, I always like to bring something back from my travels. This is a pillow I bought in the Medina in Marrakesh with my sister. And I really don't care whether things go terribly well. These pillows come from Istanbul, traveling with my friend Imogen. I doubt I'll be going there again anytime soon. I bought this textile in India with my sister just before I started my fabric line, and I love it to bits.
Recording now.
Little bits and pieces are everywhere. I'd forgotten to mention this funny bowl made out of recycled material. South Africans are so inventive. So, on to the next part of the tour. Whoops! I think I've mentioned before that since we left South Africa, David and I have really fallen in love with the whole continent and traveling there. A couple of years ago, we went to Namibia, which was David's absolute dream trip. And we met the Himba people, who are the most amazing nomadic tribe that still exist in the world, and bought these beautiful, intricate baskets that they make. By the way, these fun pictures, my sister and brother-in-law came to stay and brought them as a sort of coming to stay present. And they are so symbolic of South African countryside. Love, love, love them. I have another himba basket here in the sitting room. And I just don't mind classical things. Beautiful Vaughan lamp that I bought on sale. And of course, there are the nest baskets that I fell in love with in Plettenberg Bay in the African store. I love giving them as prezzies. So, more Istanbul pillow. And this is where David's dog likes to sit, right on the softest part of the sofa. What can you do? Miriam Montague from Peacock Pavilion gave me this pillow when I stayed in Morocco with her. And that pillow is from Robert Keim, my all-time favorite shop in London. He is my absolute style icon. So, going through to the dining room, which is the whole point of this story. Oh, by the way, trip to Botswana, best game camp ever. Bought this calabash in their store. And I just love the graphicness of it. Oh, the goat bought in Plettenberg Bay, made with telephone wire by the sweetest old man. I haven't seen any of his things in the store again. I love to pick up rocks. These rocks come from this hike that we did at Kranshoek that has the most beautiful stones on its beach. I must take you there. Oh, this is a river stone from Namibia. We absolutely love the river stones, volcanic rock. Okay, going through to the dining room. So here's the whole point of the story, which is that I bought this beautiful woven bowl in Mungo, and in it I put all the shells that I picked up on our last hike in South Africa that I want to show you, because it was probably the most magical hike I have ever been on. I put it on my dining room table with these antique milk flasks that I bought a long time ago. And don't you think it's great with the 1950s lucite chandelier? I think it's very cool. So, now you're going to see the hike. You're back in our life. That's his gimbal. What's a gimbal? So the backstory on this hike is that right at the end of our holiday, these old friends of ours that we've known since we were teenagers invited us to hike and have a picnic on this incredible piece of land that they used to own but has now gone into conservation. It was an incredibly hot but beautiful day, and David's sister and my niece and her husband were staying with us from New York, and I have to say that Janie is not a fan of heights, but fortunately when you walk along that path, there are lovely little bushes that hide the terrible, treacherous drop on the other side, and it was only apparent quite how nasty the edge of that cliff was when we watched David's drone footage, which is pretty spectacular. This is Murray explaining to David how one of his dogs that is actually with us on the walk fell over the cliff and lived. Really a very horrifying story.
You see how they can just rush into there and just go over the top.
Absolutely, yeah.
Making our way down to the beaches, there was basically not another living soul around. At this stage, we are steamy hot. But luckily, Serena showed us her favorite dunking pool. You know what this is? forest bathing. After forest bathing, and then it's rock pool bathing. And if you know. Is there anything that's more fun than walking and talking and laughing with old friends? The conversation never ends. Life, forgiveness, the universe, who we love, who we hate. Actually, I take that back. There's enough hate in the world. We don't really hate anybody. Teaching my poor niece Claudia how to become a hoarder of stones and rocks and shells. This is the first shell I found on our walk, and it went straight on my dining room table. It's almost lunchtime. Time to set up the picnic. Oh, sorry, I'll improve my... We have decorations to the table. Not good enough. You have plates.
Oh my God.
Matching plates. But we didn't bring the wine in the That's true.
Can you not show me the inside of your picnic basket for the vlog?
Show me the inside of your picnic
Show
basket.
me your picnic basket.
It was really quite a feast. That's Richard, our neighbour from Plett, the sweetest man. After lunch, David took some more amazing drone footage from the little hidey hole where we had our picnic. Serena and Murray put a table in there years ago. And meanwhile, Serena and I found a real thorny bush to lie under and have a joint meditation. Here's our team photo of us all about to head home. The dogs are very expectant. Apparently, the rest of our party found it hard to believe that after spending all day together, we still had huge issues to put to bed.